No barriers. Thanks for joining us for our 2021. Sir. No problem. Find one of our amazing staff members at the check-in table and standing in before the register table. Starting the first meeting soon.
When I'm lonely in the dark, I know you are with me. Yeah. Don't you see that I need you so much? Don't you see that I love you so much? Oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, darling, I need your love.
Hello, no barriers. Please find a seat. The show is going to begin in 5 minutes. Thank you.
Want me across the head, from what I'm told.
Two.
Go over.
No barriers. I hope you found a seat and are ready for our first movie. Here to introduce our first movie is one of tonight's stars. Please welcome Jeff Evans.
She coming out in there. Oh, I'm mic'd up. I don't even have to stand next to the microphone. What's happening, No Barriers? All right. Everybody's getting some nutrition into them now as they've had such a good and fun, challenging day out in the Rocky Mountains. My name's Jeff Evans, and this is No Barriers. And I have to say, they told me to introduce myself, share my background, No Barriers 101, and do all that in 3 minutes. So I'm not sure I can get all that done in 3 minutes, but the bottom line is I met this guy a number of years ago. We're pushing probably 30 years now. And he was a bit of a bumbly blind guy, 28 years ago. And, he was kind of messing around Phoenix and having some fun here and there and rock climbing and so forth. And then I got introduced to him. And at the time I was living in my van down by the river. You knew that was coming in Joshua Tree, California. Eric comes out. I get to meet this guy, Eric. He comes out and we rock climb for the whole weekend. And, the very first climb we were together, I didn't know how good of a climber the dude was. So, I'm getting him on easier routes. And then as the day progresses, day progresses on. And finally the sun goes down and I still can't get the guy on a route that's hard enough to challenge him. So finally, the sun goes down. I get on the hardest route I could possibly do. Eric just so strong. He gets up there and he scans and he moves, he scans, he moves. He gets all the way to the top, sits down next to me. And I say, "Wow, man, you're really, really good." And no kidding you. And I'm saying, you know, like that. Now the sun's gone down. Let's get on down and, you know, go eat some ramen noodles and, you know, and drink a beer or whatever. And no kidding you, blind dude looks me square in the eyes. He goes, "Bro, do you think I care if the sun's gone down? Like, let's go. Let's keep climbing." That was 28 years ago. In the course of the following and subsequent 28 years, Eric and I have done a few things together. And there was this big mountain in the background called Everest that sits back there many moons ago. But the biggest, well beyond Everest, the biggest legacy that my friend Eric ever has created and then ultimately will create, other than his lovely children, was this, and the fact that you're here right now. This collection of beautiful people. It is consistently an honor for me to interface with all of you, to meet all of you. I feel like I see a lot of familiar faces out there, and I'm very proud to be here. So, it is my honor to kick things off today, as well as introduce the first of two movies that we're going to be watching this evening. So, first movie is called A Day to Remember, and it stars Todd Leeson, who I got to spend some time with here. Todd's kind of a local fella. He's down in Golden over there. It's produced and directed by Mike Marks Gibbons and then Daniel Strock. And I think, Daniel, I got your last name pronounced right, Dan? Yep. All right. So without further ado, let's take a look at A Day to Remember.
Got everything away. Yep, this is recording. We're going to put this over here. You all set? Yep. I don't remember the day that changed my life, but it did. So it was after work, just going for a ride at North Table Mountain. We had done all the technical stuff, and that had happened, and we were actually within a half mile of getting back to the car on a super easy section, flat section of the trail. And something happened. The friend that I was with was far enough ahead of me that they didn't see what happened, and other riders came up behind me ultimately and found me unconscious off the side of the trail. I had a subdural hematoma in the occipital part of my brain, and actually, as it turns out, that's the good place to have a brain injury. It has less motor function, so it's more recoverable than maybe other areas of the brain. I did damage to my cranial nerve 3, which affects the movement of your eyes. So both my eyes work fine independently, but they don't work together. So I spent a lot of time with double vision, a lot of time with double vision.
My name is Malia Michael, and I'm a program coordinator for No Barriers for our Warriors program specifically. So we take veterans on outdoor expeditions, and I help manage all the logistics for that. Todd was in a biking accident and had a TBI and is starting to have some vision issues. I think as somebody transitions from having complete vision to no vision, I think this is just a great way to meet other people and how do they interact with the world and how do they overcome whatever they're dealing with.
So much of your world is interpreted through your eyes, and not being able to see somebody or be able to walk clearly through a door, or even when I was using a wheelchair, I constantly ran into the walls on my left side because that's where my cranial nerve was affected. So having to overcome visual issues, and it's still ongoing for me, is for sure the biggest challenge.
So name is Andre Penhall, and I'm a native of the deep south, Buenos Aires, Argentina. I am a motivational speaker right now. And I went very suddenly blind in 2011, a period of 2 weeks. And I had to reinvent myself. When difficult change comes to us, it's if we don't know how to handle it, we just swirl down and down into a toxic pool of ugly emotions. You're angry at the world, you're angry at everything. Why me, right?
All our programs are designed to help people face whatever their challenge is and find a way to overcome it, whatever that may be in their own personal life. You're not the only person that's gone through this or had this experience, and like finding that connection with others, whether it's hearing their stories, it's coming to the summit, it's just having an informal conversation with somebody you meet on the bike ride.
What I did is I reached out to the No Barriers program, said, hey, Eric's been a real big inspiration for me. Got everything the way. Yep, this is recording. We're going to put this over here. You all set? Yep. I don't remember the day that changed my life, but it did. So it was after work, just going for a ride at North Table Mountain. We had done all the technical stuff, and that had happened, and we were actually within a half mile of getting back to the car on a super easy flat section of the trail. And something happened. The friend that I was with was far enough ahead of me that they didn't see what happened, and other riders came up behind me ultimately and found me unconscious off the side of the trail. I had a subdural hematoma in the occipital part of my brain, and actually, as it turns out, that's the good place to have a brain injury. It has less motor function, so it's more recoverable than maybe other areas of the brain. I did damage to my cranial nerve 3, which affects the movement of your eyes. So both my eyes work fine independently, but they don't work together. So I spent a lot of time with double vision, a lot of time with double vision.
My name is Malia Michael, and I'm a program coordinator for No Barriers for our Warriors program specifically. So we take veterans on outdoor expeditions, and I help manage all the logistics for that. Todd was in a biking accident and had a TBI and is starting to have some vision issues. I think as somebody transitions from having complete vision to no vision, I think this is just a great way to meet other people and how do they interact with the world and how do they overcome whatever they're dealing with.
So much of your world is interpreted through your eyes, and not being able to see somebody or be able to walk clearly through a door, or even when I was using a wheelchair, I constantly ran into the walls on my left side because that's where my cranial nerve was affected. So having to overcome visual issues, and it's still ongoing for me, is for sure the biggest challenge.
So name is Andre Van Hall, and I'm a native of the deep south, Buenos Aires, Argentina. I am a motivational speaker right now. And I went very suddenly blind in 2011, a period of 2 weeks. And I had to reinvent myself. When difficult change comes to us, it's if we don't know how to handle it, we just swirl down and down into a toxic pool of ugly emotions. You're angry at the world, you're angry at everything. Why me, right?
All our programs are designed to help people face whatever their challenge is and find a way to overcome it, whatever that may be in their own personal life. You're not the only person that's gone through this or had this experience, and like finding that connection with others, whether it's hearing their stories, it's coming to the summit, it's just having an informal conversation with somebody you meet on the bike ride.
What I did is I reached out to the No Barriers program, said, hey, Eric's been a real big inspiration for me and the group, and I'm sure other patients at Craig, and it'd be great if he had some way to connect with patients at Craig Hospital and give them that inspiration that maybe they didn't even realize they needed, but they could take so much away from. They got back to me pretty quick and they said, hey, this is an interesting story and this is something that we'd like to continue to pursue. And would you actually be interested in joining us on a ride that we're doing to celebrate Eric's 20th anniversary of the summit of Everest? And absolutely. I was on board from that moment on.
It was kind of just supposed to be a small event, but it was really to commiserate the 20th anniversary of Eric's summit. I think this might have been a first up Mount Evans, but they've taken, every year they do What's Your Everest, and you divide into rope teams and help somebody summit. Everybody that's going to go up there is amazing and connected with this group on some level. So we're going to have lots of cheerleaders up there.
Todd, I never will walk in your shoes, or I hope I never do. And I think I would rather lose my eyesight any day over going through a brain injury. And so what you're going through definitely is scary. And I honor and respect what you're going through. And all I can do is tell you that I hope that through the strength of your friends, the people that surround you, that are reaching out to help you, and then your inner strength, okay, that strength that got you to cycling, that got you to where you were, that's still inside of you, man. So reach down, let those people help you and help yourself. You can do it, okay? It'll be different. It'll suck. It'll be difficult, okay? But it'll be better than doing nothing. So my prayers are with you, brother, and I look forward to riding with you on Tuesday.
Hey, my name is Eric Weinmeyer, and I'm here in Golden, Colorado at the American Mountaineering Museum. And this is my guide dog, Yuri. I'm here in front of this exhibit of Mount Everest in 2001. I got the privilege of climbing it. I became the first blind person to do so, but I'm most proud of the fact of helping to co-found No Barriers, this organization, this movement that helps people with challenges to break through barriers, to tap into the light of the human spirit and find purpose in their lives. Well, thanks everyone for coming. This is really exciting. And 20 years ago, Michael Brown and I were standing on the 29,000 feet. So it's really cool that today, 20 years later, we're gonna go, 13,000 feet, something like that. Maybe higher, we'll see, right? What's that?
About halfway.
Yeah, exactly, it's halfway. Yeah, so every 20 years I go halfway. So in 20 years from now, we're gonna go to 7,000 feet. And, but it's really wonderful because, little did I know 20 years ago that No Barriers would come from our Mount Everest climb, and the inspiration that came from that, and like the support that I got from my team. And so starting No Barriers, realizing that, hey, if we lean in and we help each other, we can break through so many barriers in life, and prove that what's within us is stronger than what's in our way. And that's the mission of No Barriers. And so I appreciate everybody being here and celebrating with us and supporting that mission. So it's going to be an awesome day. Hopefully we'll have a beautiful sunny day at the top. Yeah, thanks everyone. No Barriers.
How about 3 hoorays for Eric?
Yeah.
Hip hooray! Hip hooray! We're going to spend the next 10 minutes, guys. We're going to try to be ready in 10 minutes.
It was a perfect intro to this event for sure. Eric's an amazing guy. He's so nice and humble for all these amazing things that he's actually done. So I was a little starstruck without a doubt, but it was very amazing. He's a great guy and very nice.
It's going to be a fun day with all the sunshine. Oh!
I'm anxious and good and ready to to try hard.
And although I tried to look away, my every thought was of you. And all my plans went away, drifting like a boat out on the blue.
I think this is absolutely amazing. I'm a little overwhelmed, to be honest. It's what a great group of riders, a beautiful scenery. It rejuvenates me, and you can do it. It's just starting with that first climb on the bike. Doesn't matter what your goal is, you can do it. If I have to walk to the top, I'll be at the top, but yeah.
I thought that I was just passing through, until my eyes, they wandered right on you. I want to know the secrets that you hold. I want to hear your voice until we roll. I want to spend my life right by your side, to hear your siren song until I die. To hear your siren song until I die. To hear your siren song until I die.
Oh, keep going, man. It's that first step off the ground, and making that first move is a huge element of accomplishing a big feat. But you can't take it all on at once. It's just starting with that first piece and going from there. Everybody's story is different, and you can't compare yourself to anybody else. But what you can do is you can realize how much inspiration they've had and that they provide, and that, you know, we can connect together in ways that I wouldn't have otherwise. And so this is going to be a huge bonding experience with everybody that's going to be making the same effort.
Go No Barriers. I'll be back. Thanks for everything.
Life has been great since I saw you last. You know, it's been an amazing event that I got to participate in, and it really helped me propel me into an area of getting back to doing a lot more physical activities. So I'm out riding the bike more, I'm running more, I'm climbing more, and doing the things that I really, before my accident, spent a lot of my free time doing. No Barriers will definitely be a part of my life going forward, without a doubt. I don't know what that looks like yet, but it will definitely be a part of my life without a doubt. There's such a great community and organization that I feel like it's important for me to continue to participate. So yeah, if you're thinking about No Barriers, I'd say go for it. You won't be sorry, you'll grow, and you'll have a chance to be the person you feel like you really can be, that you're capable of being. So I say go for it, and have fun. Enjoy the moment. It's an amazing, amazing group.
So now with that, I'd like to invite a fellow that I met on Craigslist last week. His name's Eric Weinmeier. He happened to be the first guy to summit Mount Everest, so they tell me. With that, I'd like to bring up E-Dub. Eric, come here, bud. Here we go. We're going to go to this guy right here.
What's up, buddy?
So you're taking this one.
I
Yeah.
thought it was Bumble.
Bumble, Craigslist, that's your joke. Okay, so we all met Todd during the movie, and Todd is a Golden guy just down the road. But I also wanted to quickly introduce you to the producers who are behind the camera that you haven't met yet. And I mentioned them at the beginning. Daniel Strock is the co-founder and the head of business development and creative strategies for that. And I wanted to make sure and get this name right because we're going to find out where this name came from. But Alisana, this organization called Alisana Collective, a veteran-owned media production company. He played connector and co-producer for the No Barriers film A Day to Remember. And he also happened to write the musical score, which is amazing. So also we have Mike Marks Gibbons, who's the co-founder and the head of media productions for the Alisana Collective, and was the film's director as well as the co-producer. So with that, I'd like to bring these handsome young fellas up to the stage, all three of them. You guys will be popping in right here.
There you go. You guys are going to be over there.
I guess I'm old enough now to be able to say handsome young fellas to everybody.
Are they here?
Sure, pop it down there. No. Well, I mean, I'll sit on somebody's lap. All right, you guys good there. So we're going to do a little bit of a Q&A on the film, and I'm going to ask the first question, and it's going to be directed to you, Todd. So this is a bit of a nebulous question. You can take it in any direction you want, but I think everybody would be interested in knowing, what the biggest thing that you learned about yourself, not about the process, but about you and yourself with this journey.
For me, it was probably the confidence of being able to try a task that maybe I didn't think I was capable of doing. When Skylar first reached out to me about writing and participating in this event, I was instantly on board. And then I realized how big a climb that thing really was. So there's a little bit of hesitation.
Answer yes first, and then figure out what you're answering to. Okay, I got you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I reached back out to Skylar, like, I'm not so sure I can pull this off. And he was really nice about supporting me and encouraging me and making me pull it off. So I think that confidence to take something on that maybe I didn't think I was capable of doing is a huge one. The community itself was also really remarkable to me, and getting to know Andre and the really nice words that he said, and getting to be a part of this community where other people have had similar experiences, and getting to connect with them was really meaningful for me. And then the compassion of all the volunteers is amazing. Today was another great example of that. Of these people have no financial incentive to do this; they just have big hearts to make it happen.
A lot of love, a lot of love. And I couldn't help but notice, your accident took place on two wheels, and this whole film captured you on two wheels in a way, like a reclamation of sorts,
Oh, it was.
Trajectory upwards, right?
Absolutely, and it was intimidating without a doubt, but it was enriching experience for me to get back on there and do it with that much support.
Yeah.
And this great group of people.
Amazing. Yep.
I have a question for the filmmakers, for Mike and Daniel. I want to know from you guys what the most challenging part of this process was in terms of making this film, and what was the most challenging part of, expressing Todd's story as well as Andre's story.
Well, thanks, Eric, for that question, and thanks for everybody for being here and watching the film. We really, really appreciate it. It was really nice meeting most of you today and going up the mountain with you guys. And we think probably the most challenging part of making this film was really not letting the film down, not getting too far in the way of the story. This film really, the reason why it was successful was because of Todd. We met Todd the same day that we interviewed him, and he came pouring out to us and gave us his story, and without really knowing who we were and what we were going to do with it. And that really speaks to who he is. And his one goal was to be able to get his message out to the rest of the world, and maybe help one or two more folks. And that was really kind of the challenge, was how to not let that down. Did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think in general, when you watching a piece and you're trying to connect with something, it's all about vulnerability and authenticity. And for us, being a part of No Barriers and this experience, we didn't have to work that hard to do this because that exists within this organization, within the people. And, you know, just being honest, I think everyone we've met in our two journeys out here is like, it's a game changer for us as humans, you know, because we're here and we want to connect emotionally, and there's all these different things happening in the world. And then, you know, you kind of drive down and you're hiking up a mountain, and somebody you meet within 10 minutes, you're spewing your life story to. And, you know, you can't replace that. So I know that was a little bit of a tangent, but, you know, we really appreciate what this is and what it brings to the community, and Eric and to David and Skylar and Nate and Karen and how we got involved. So genuinely appreciative, and thanks for having us.
Just a quick logistical question. Were you riding the bike and filming? Like,
So we caught a lot of heat. The way a lot of people ask us is, how were you able to get the shots that we got? And so they gave us two electric bikes, e-bikes, which we never heard the end of, which rightfully so. So every time we go flying by everybody, you know, in the pack, everybody, you know, yelling at us. Have you ever been above tree level? You know.
And
So-
I didn't know you guys were on an electric bike at first. So
Just
you'd
thought you
go
were
flying
fit.
past me and I'd feel demoralized.
These guys are super fit.
So yeah, we tried to hide that the best we could, but you know, we had a great time doing it, and we would literally fly up in front of the group and then try to get the best shot we could, let the group pass, and then do the same thing all over again. So that's kind of how we did it.
Now, another question for you guys. You guys are both veterans, correct?
Yeah, I'm
Mike
a
is
veteran. Yes.
So, so maybe Mike, you could tell us a bit about your military background. So this is a three-part question. Okay. A bit about your military background. And it seems like you could have done a lot of things, but you guys have this mission sort of driven company, Alisana. And what was your motivation for starting that production company? And the third piece, what kind of exciting projects have you been a part of? Tell everybody.
And for where does Alisana come from? It's
Okay.
beautiful, and I think everybody.
So,
I don't know if they can remember all that.
Yeah, that's a lot to unpack. But so basically, Dan and I have known each other for a very long time. We started in the music industry, and you know, after all that kind of ran its course, we took a project on called Bastards Road, which is about a Marine who walked across the country. And one of our good friends filmed it, and we had the privilege of writing some of the music for it. And watching the veteran community come around that piece and seeing the change that it drove when we flew out to several of the festivals that it was a part of, really showed us the power of what film can do and what good storytelling can do. And to us, it doesn't really matter if it's a veteran community or if it's just civilian community. It doesn't matter. Healing is healing. And what we try to do is just get people's stories out there to show that they're not alone. And somebody that's struggling in the dark, that doesn't know what to do with with their lives because they're facing some sort of adversity, that they have the ability to connect with someone else that's going through the same exact thing. Did you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I as a civilian, I think one of the most impactful moments for me was being a part of a lot of these veteran film festivals and learning the communication aspect of it, right? So it's hard to relate because I didn't serve and I wasn't over in the trenches. So how do I have a conversation with somebody and say, hey, I get you and I feel you, and I'm going to ask you the right thing. And after going through that process and learning how the barriers kind of broke down to say, we can communicate and I can learn how to speak to you freely. I don't want to say without insulting, but with respecting what you went through and know that I'm here for you and I'm your brother or your sister and we've all gone through traumas and I'm not going to try to relate, but I'm a piece of your life. And that was invaluable really to how our company developed, because we pardon the language here, but we just wanted to be part of impactful shit because we care, because it matters, because we had the choice to do it. So, and to run off of that, Alisana came from, Mike and I dabbled in the music industry for over a decade together, good and bad and indifferent. And our band started on Alisana Street in Baltimore. And that was where the name came from. And as we started our media company and got back into it, we had a list of 60 names, and we were pouring through them. And we were like, we just want to go back to our roots. So, and it's a good conversation starter because people either pronounce it wrong and want to know the right pronunciation.
Which one's Alice? Which one's
Right. Or so, yeah. But anyways, that's where it came from.
Good. I liked it. The only way I remembered it was I was thinking of Mel's Diner and Alice. That's the only thing.
Alice in Chains.
So, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful name. So, going to you, back to you, Todd. So this is the question that I think Eric and I would agree. We always used to hate this question, right? When we got down from Everest, it was, here it is. I got to lay it on you. Is, do you have any other upcoming adventures? What's next? It's always what's next, but it's got to be what's next.
Signing autographs after the film.
Right. Today was a big event for me. That was super fun to go up there and actually be a part of a rope team, to be a little bit more on the other side. You know, I feel like I had so much support during the Everest ride, Mount Evans ride, that I felt good to give back again. This is such a great community, and that was really impactful. I do have a heli ski trip booked for British Columbia, spring 2022.
All right.
That's huge. It's been a lifelong goal for me, and part of this experience sort of propelled me forward to commit to doing that. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, I like it. Biking and skiing. All right.
And
so,
Todd.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you, after that film, after that project, we got to know each other. We went out climbing with the big group. And then we hadn't really known each other that well, but you said, hey, let's go climbing again. And it was just the two of us. And I know that you were seeing double, you had double vision, right? You had some challenges processing and things like that as you heal up. And you chose to climb a cool rock face called Lover's Leap right off of 285, where it was like kind of scrambling and route finding. And then you were putting gear in the route. That's called trad climbing. And so you were route finding up the route. You found the rappels to get down. So that's pretty bold that, I think that was your first lead.
Whoa.
Right?
It was certainly one of the first trad leads anyways, for sure.
And you chose to
That was a big
do
day.
it with this blind guy that you barely knew.
Wow.
Like, this kind of speaks to a bold approach to life, and maybe this commitment to what your No Barriers life looks like. So I don't know if that's a
Absolutely.
question or just a statement, but
Well, it was an awesome day. It was one of the kind of blind guy leading the really blind guy. So we still managed to pull it off. And it was an empowering day. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
I was really
derived so
proud of
much
you because
inspiration
you charged up those climbs. I know you're a little bit nervous getting back into the game, and you did it. You got to the top, and we had a totally beautiful day. And I so appreciate our friendship.
Well, I appreciate that too, Eric. Thank you.
Did he say, I don't care if the sun's going down? You've been known to do that.
I didn't get that.
All right. So one more question for you fellas. So you got kind of I would consider like we got kind of an outsider look into someone accomplishing something great and sort of out of their comfort zone and something that was monumental for them in the place that they were at that time. So that being said, how has that impacted you personally? I know you kind of alluded to it, and how it's impacted your life, but I'd like to understand, how this has all played out and perhaps how you will go forward with your art and what you make going forward.
I mean, I think that's a really great question. I know personally watching Todd go through what he went through and being able to tell his story, coming from the military side, I mean, everybody struggles, veteran, civilian, it doesn't matter. And we all have adversity to overcome. Watching you overcome your adversity in real time, and then getting to interview you on the back end on the Zoom call, which you see kind of in the credits, and that you had struck up a friendship with Eric and you were continuing to climb and really pushing yourself back into that arena. It made me really dive down into my own adversity that I faced from deployments and other facets of life, and re-examine what maybe I'm not doing to confront them. So I can't thank you enough for, and Eric for helping me understand that about myself.
I'm going to try to follow that. I think the biggest thing and what this really provides us as artists and creatives and people who love to do this is the collaborative aspect, right? we can't tell stories unless somebody's willing to share them. So for us, it's really about finding those stories and becoming vulnerable with people and immersing ourselves in that process, because we all process trauma and life is beautiful, but life isn't easy. So there's always a way to relate. And, it has come to light so many times in 2 weekends at No Barriers. And that's just God's honest truth. So we're happy to be here, and we're happy to continue to search for these opportunities. But, in the moment, thank you guys. Thank you, Todd. You're a great human, man. And Eric and you got,
And all of you.
Right.
All of you.
Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you, fellas. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, guys.
All right. As they disembark, I can't help but think that, we watched Todd's journey, and I hope and I assume and I hope that every single person here sees perhaps just a little bit of themselves in Todd. And that's the beautiful thing about capturing that kind of event, is that now we can see what Todd went through, and then perhaps we can sort of understand that we all are sort of taking a little bit of a Todd journey along the way. And that's why we're all here. So as we have a little bit of a moving out sail, I'd like to invite up a very special friend of mine, the star of our next movie, up onto the stage. Let me make sure that we're all ready to go here. So many of you are familiar with this young lady. She is quite remarkable. And if you haven't met her, prepare yourself. And if you have, my guess is you probably talked to her on the phone, because apparently she was phone banking the shit out of you guys to be able to come do this thing. So I'd like to bring to the stage my friend Melissa Simpson.
Hi, Jeff.
All right. So Melissa is going to come out here.
I can't be in the way.
You're never in the way.
That's why you guys told me I'm the nothing.
She was telling me that today she only cried for 2 minutes. And it was simply because the last time we were together in this film that you're going to see today, that I did. She claims that I told her to stop crying.
Yeah, you told me.
There's video evidence, so you'll all be able to tell from this. I don't think I did. Maybe I did. I'm not so sure.
We don't need no tears, he said.
We don't need no tears.
It makes your cortisol go up.
All right. I'll accept that, I suppose.
Yeah.
So our next movie is called From My Window. And I'll just give a little bit of a background. Melissa is going to come back on the stage here in a little while. But, Melissa met Eric when he gave the commencement ceremony. Am I right on that? It's
4 years ago.
4 years ago at CMC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so then they become friends. Melissa learns about the No Barriers community and very quickly becomes a very critical part of the community.
Yeah, yep.
And she shows up in Tahoe, where we had the summit a couple years ago. And I was doing this thing where we're calling man on the street, or so. I was just interviewing people along the way.
Yeah.
And this is accurate, right? Yeah. I'm just making sure I got this right.
Are you going to tell them about the time that I broke down in Andy Harmon?
No. I don't tell anybody. No. That's a secret story.
Okay.
And matter of fact, I'll let you tell that story if you want. But more importantly, I think, I was doing the Man About thing. I had the microphone. I was going, and they said, you really need to go talk to this young woman named Melissa. And I'm hunting around I think she's over this place. And I go over, and I'm like, are you Melissa? And she said, yes. And I said, well, all right, I'm going to interview you. And you proceeded to make me cry, within 5 minutes of meeting you.
Yeah.
And, so that was great. That felt really good. But I realized right then Melissa was going to be a big part of this community and of my life. So you're very amazing. I don't want to take any more time from the film, but I do, before we show the film, we do have a little bit of a surprise for this one right here. So I'd like to bring out for Melissa and for all of you, the wonderful, the beautiful Miss Mandy Harvey.
awesome. I'm so excited. Yeah. Would you be able to talk or say a little bit of something before your amazing film to introduce it? And I was like, Psh, heck yes, I'm there all day. And then I thought, this is one of your favorites. And so I'm going to play this time because it's about exactly what you're about to show, which is us becoming a rope team and moving forward, being so much stronger and going so much farther than we thought we were capable of doing because we're doing it together. And you have changed and pushed my life in so many ways. And I love you from the bottom of my heart. So thank you for being a part of my rope team. Nice to meet you, are we flying? Or is it all in my head? I'm second guessing, but I'm trying before it all disappears. Seconds turned into minutes, wasted time instead of a living. Please don't stand in my way. I am running out of nowhere. Yes, I'm moving on, I'll lose the race if I wait. I'm so close that I can taste it. Yes, I'm moving on, Whoa, I'm running, this time I'm gonna make it. Whoa, I'm running, this time. The hardest part of all is knowing how to catch my breath. I'm scared to risk it all, take a chance, close my eyes and try again. But seconds turned into minutes, wasted time instead of a living. Please don't stand in my way. I am running out of nowhere. Yes, I'm moving on, I'll lose the race if I wait. I'm so close that I can taste it. Yes, I'm moving on, Whoa, I'm running, this time I'm gonna make it. Whoa, I'm running, this time. Whoa, I'm running, this time I'm gonna make it. Whoa, I'm running, this time I'm gonna make it. I'm not the same kid I used to be. Oh, this time I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna chase it from here. 'Cause seconds turned into minutes, wasted time instead of a living. Please don't stand in my way. I am running out of nowhere. Yes, I'm moving on, I'll lose the race if I wait. I'm so close that I can taste it. Yes, I'm moving on, Whoa, I'm running, this time I'm gonna make it. Whoa, I'm running, this time. Whoa, I'm running, this time I'm gonna make it. Whoa, I'm running, this time. You're very welcome. I'm so proud of you. Thank you.
It's just allergies, that's all. It's just allergies. It's cool. Nothing to see here. Wow. Thank you, Mandy. I mean, as usual, she's just amazing.
Are you
right?
ready for more kiss?
Yeah. I'm an easy cry, so bring it. I'm all right. That was beautiful. So, and by the way, we'll be hearing from Mandy again tomorrow morning. So make sure and come right back out here tomorrow morning. I got to do it really quickly. 2 years ago, also in Tahoe, Mandy led a clinic where we all sort of felt the vibrations of the music, right? Yeah. And it was one of the most powerful things I've felt in recent memory. And it's kind of my first experience with the Queen, Mandy Harvey, and Melissa was in the room as well. And I think we were all moved to tears that day.
They were singing with Megan from Hawaii that's playing in Mandy's death, and they were singing together.
Yeah, they were singing together, and it shook us.
Yeah,
it shook us.
I just lost it.
Yeah. I think there was a lot of collective losing it going on. So it was cool. So come back and see Mandy tomorrow morning, and we're going to be talking with Melissa in a little bit after her movie. So don't go far,
Okay.
Melissa. You stick around.
You guys enjoy the film.
So yeah, with that, Melissa and I are excited to share this journey with all of you. It's called From My Window. So let's take a
I
look.
need to move this.
Yep, let's go.
Alright, go. Take me some time to get my feet this way. Here we go. From my window, I could see the tallest peaks in Colorado. This is the view I had my whole life, and I've always wanted to tackle these mountains. All I want to do is be outside, experiencing these things. Hello? Hey! Hey, Daddy! Hey! Hey!
A few years back, I was the commencement speaker for the Colorado Mountain College. And after that graduation, Melissa came right up to me and we started talking. And you could just tell, I don't know, there's something about Melissa. I can't see her, but there's like a light inside of her that is just burning, and she wants to do so much with her life. And that talk, I think, partly just ignited her. Like, she had already graduated from college near the top of her class. And she's like, what does this life look like for me? And we just stayed in touch, and we've been friends ever since.
I'm excited, Eric.
You ready for this big adventure?
Yes. Left or right. There's a lot of beautiful aspen trees.
Right here?
Eric.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Which direction? To the right?
To the right. To the right. Yes, gold.
Oh, you want me to go right?
No, I'm seeing the trees.
I think there's been this sort of resistance, like, oh, that person with a disability, the outdoors is too rugged, it's too dangerous, too risky, but I just find that total BS, because as the world progresses, if you can build the right technologies for people to get into the outdoors, and then, hey, where technology fails, that's where you have your great team. So there's no reason why somebody with any kind of challenge can't push themselves in the outdoors.
Ooh, it's a brisk wind.
Leadville is a beautiful town. It's a great community, and Melissa loves this place. But it is challenging. It's just hostile. The weather's really cold and windy, and in the winter, it's really hard to get around, especially if you don't drive.
We don't have public transportation, so I can't get to the store by myself. The only transportation I have is my mom. Yep. My life is not easy. It's a struggle. I was born weighing in at 1 pound 15 ounces, which caused me to have cerebral palsy, which is I have severe muscle tightness in my entire body, particularly my legs.
Yeah, mountaineering is a slow burn.
They call it excessive moderation.
slow burn the whole time. And so you have to help us. We'll be watching you.
Tomorrow is going to be a monumentally physical day for all of us, and especially for Melissa. We are going to go out to this peak. It's called Columbine. It's like a really steep, rugged Jeep road. And if we're feeling the spirit, we may go a little bit higher up to this 13,000 foot peak, or we may go left up to Columbine. Both are incredible accomplishments.
And I might be dreaming big right now, but you gotta dream big. Gotta tackle your goals. You've got me watching these Rocky.
Yeah, wait, he got you watching the whole Rocky series?
Yeah, because I did not.
She offended me at first. I was like, Rocky, have you got, she goes, how do I get ready? And I go, watch Rocky 1, 2, 3, and 4. And she's like, Rocky, I think my mom may know who Rocky is. I'm like, what?
I knew I didn't have the greatest strength in my body. So I knew I wanted to be independent, and that's when I started the gym.
Ready? Good. You got it.
And that's
2.
helping me with my strength for this climb.
Strong pull to your chest. Try to keep that number down. Okay. Get that back down to 330. You can do it. Good work.
Water, please.
All right.
Thank you.
There's no secret to this day. It's just like Melissa wants to climb high in her life. She wants to experience big things. She wants to have a family of people who support her and love her and, you know, lift each other up. It's all the things I think she desires, especially that feeling of connection, of people not underestimating her, but we'll support her as high as she wants to go. And we'll probably push her a little bit more than where she wants to go.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
The time is here.
Let's go.
You ready to do it?
Yeah.
Got your Rocky on, and you're gonna be really good today. Haven't seen Leadville this early in the morning for a while, huh?
I feel like I'm done up for a bike race or something.
I know, right? There's the big old mountains again.
And mountains are waiting for me.
Oh, look at you. You already harnessed up.
Hello.
Ready to have an adventure?
Yes.
Go have one. Okay.
Awesome.
How's that?
Yeah.
Look at Jeff. He's like revving like a race car.
Oh, I'm like a sled dog.
Do it. You're your team. You got it, girl.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
Thanks, Mama.
Thanks, Cam.
Thanks, Mama.
We're off.
We're here today because Melissa's fired up to climb a peak. And we have the team ready. Melissa's been training. She's got a Grit Freedom chair.
Oh, we're in like a corridor of aspen trees right now.
Really? Oh, I hear them.
The team that we've assembled is actually a really special team because every person on this rope team has had challenges. There's 3 blind people joining us, including me. We have a vet who was blown up and burned in Iraq. We have folks who have had anxiety and depression. So everybody on that support team has been there.
I hear the trees to our left here.
Real nice.
It's more open to the right, right?
It's a little bit of an incline to the right. Oh, God. Oh.
Whoa, he looked right in that. Oh, God.
My God.
Okay. We need the next team.
Team 2.
Next team.
This is not like the selfless act that people come here to be a part of this team. I'm totally selfish. I love being a part of this stuff.
That's Eric's fault. He ran over me.
I was going.
Did the wheel go over you?
It's enhancing all of our lives. I think we're all looking for that connection in life. Experiences like this are the ticket.
Melissa,
What,
there's a
Eric?
surprise on the summit.
Huh?
Skylar's jogging down to Wild Bill's. She's bringing back ice cream and milkshakes for everybody.
I'm afraid of being judged, but I know these people don't judge me for who I am. They accept me.
Well, if we get to the summit, or no matter how high we get, I want her to be proud because that's her high point. That's her high point today. It doesn't mean it's her high point tomorrow. Tomorrow may be different. And I want her to have fulfillment, you know, to feel fulfilled in her accomplishments and her potential.
This might even be just a touch too fast. Just, yeah.
Good?
So real slow but persistent. You might need a little bit of compensation on the sides.
I wake up every single morning living the motto, what's within you is stronger than what's in your way. If something gets in my way, I find ways to overcome.
Little power, horsepower. All right.
Sometimes people like Melissa are really okay with being vulnerable and just keeping an open heart and not allowing it all to make you bitter.
Come on, let me help you. Super spinatus getting really tight. You know what I mean?
Yep. As soon as we started climbing up higher and higher, I got really tired and like out of breath. And it was like fatigue, sore.
Take some deep breath. It's okay.
Hey, don't fret that. Don't fret that. That's okay.
Yeah.
No, I hear you.
Totally scary.
Absolutely.
And even if you're thrown up, you know you're among friends.
Yeah.
I've thrown up on Jeff like 100 times.
All right, let's let that segue into what our plan is, because this is kind of a metaphor of the whole adventures right now, because we're at the veritable fork in the road that we always think about and we read about, but we're going to have to pick which side we go. There's the hard way, and then there's the harder way. I know you just had a coughing spell. How do you feel otherwise, energy-wise right now? And then how are you emotionally right now? How are you feeling, like, as far as just your soul, your gumption? Good? Yeah.
Nice.
All
I'm
right.
ready to take the harder bath.
Yo, that's a girl. This conversation is done.
Wait, that was
That's what
it?
we wanted to hear.
That was it?
We were thinking
I
we
thought we were
may
gonna
have to talk you
into
into it, but that ain't happening.
She's like, shut up. I don't need your little lecture, your motivational speech.
No more.
She's like, I already made my decision half an hour ago.
That's one of the elements of no barriers is reaching,
Yeah.
getting outside of that comfort zone.
Well, good.
Well, could we just give like 5 minutes of the motivational talk just for, you know, the cameras? I had this really good one, and I get paid a lot of money to do these.
Fine, let's just
And
start going.
I'm
Come on,
like,
we don't need any of this.
it's
nonsense.
completely wasted on you.
All right, let's do it, because we're so blessed with a beautiful day. So let's get going. Let's fire.
Nice. Good job.
You know, you get all these like really cheesy self-help quotes, these days, and like, you know, challenges are only perceived. It's like, no, they're not. Like if you're in a wheelchair or you're blind, those challenges are dead real. They are so real. But I think what we have inside of us, what we can grow, what we can nurture, what we can ignite within us, it's strong enough to break through those barriers that are real and exist in the world. I think if you want to reach really far and go really far in your life, you can't do it alone. You can't be that solo lone wolf. You got to rely on people. It doesn't matter whether you have a disability or not. So Melissa may never be able to climb a mountain by herself. I don't know. The point isn't like total independence. I did this all myself. I think the deeper thing is to say, we're going to do this together.
Whose idea was this? Melissa's.
We'll support you and how you might need help. And we'll feel that connection at the top, because to me, that's the ultimate goal.
And a little left now. Okay, here comes some hoisting here. All the way up. Okay, now we're gonna go, stay to me, stay to me. Oh, yeah, the last bit to the tip top. This is it, girlfriend. Hey.
Hey, Melissa, I have a present for you. That's a No Barriers coin for people who elevate my life.
Thank you.
We love you, Melissa.
10 years ago, I felt excluded, pushed to the sidelines. Nobody wanted to include me in hardly anything. And now I don't feel lost anymore. I really don't. Today was amazing, and I couldn't do without this amazing rope.
Summit!
I volunteer once a week at Howard Hood Sports Medicine in Bell, Colorado. How are you today?
I'm good, Melissa. How are you?
Good. Sports medicine is in my blood. I love learning about how the body moves and then how it recovers.
But you're calling the shots here.
I help the aides. I help clean. Like, I help turn over tables like nonstop. They're very grateful to have me. What's up, Kevin? They are very welcoming to me, gives me purpose. And I'm grateful for that in many, many ways. Easy does it, slow and steady.
Look at you. You don't even need help steering anymore.
Nope, I'm good at it. No, I really enjoy our adventures.
And what creek is that?
Gore Creek.
Yeah, I think that feeds into the Eagle, right?
Yep.
Well, there's our next adventure, kayaking. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I'm all for it.
I'll be in the back, you be in the front. You can steer and I can paddle. Well, you can paddle too, but you'll really need you for steering.
People underestimate you, and naturally you start to internalize that. And your life becomes the height in which others think you can get to. That's tragic at a personal level. But I think equally as important, then the world misses out, because, you know, all your energy and all your potential, all that life force is just totally lost. But it didn't happen to her.
Amazing, right? The allergies are nuts here this time of year. Maybe it's the smoke from the California fires, but I mean, I was there, and Eric and I were just standing here talking about how wonderfully impactful that experience was, and then to be able to capture it on film once again allows us to sort of look at life through Melissa's eyes, and it's just an absolute treat to be a part of that. So now, as I promised, the star of tonight's movie will come back. Let's get Miss Melissa back up on the stage. Let's get you right over here. All right, front and center. And then I'd also like to bring out the better looking part of our tandem, Mr. Eric Weinmeyer. Understand? Come on over here, Bubba. Here, stand right here next to Betty. All right, so, hi.
Hi.
That was amazing. And by the way, you pull out emotions out of everybody. Here, Eric, they're bringing some more furniture up for you here.
Okay.
So they're going to slide that over, and we're going to sit down. But I don't know why you always make me cry.
It still brings me to tears
Yeah.
11 months later.
Yeah, I mean, you were very, very emotional just back there watching it again. So you're set right there. So Eric
Every
and I are
time.
going to sit next to each other. Actually, yeah. So all right. While we're getting settled, Miss Melissa.
Okay.
We want quit looking at me. There's nothing to see here. Okay.
I'm not looking at you, Jeff.
Shush, you don't see anything. Nothing to see. So, all right. The most obvious question. All right.
Okay.
This feels awkward. I'm going to stand right here next to you. All right. So, I think everybody would want to know, like, the biggest challenge that you had, and whether it was physical, whether it was mental, whether it was emotional. As you saw, Eric tried to sabotage the whole thing right out of the gate by pushing me down, tripping me.
Melissa,
Do we want to address that right now?
No,
or-
I have that same tag on. I wanted to lead on to that,
Yeah.
which is, so you invite these world-class, quote-unquote, world-class mountaineers
Yeah.
to come and help you get to the top of this mountain. What did you think, in the first 5 minutes when one of them falls down and almost ends the whole project and has to get helicoptered out?
/ push down.
I was like, oh, shoot, here we go.
That's-
Not even 10 minutes into the climb, and the medic's down. What am I going to do without a medic? Because I need him on the climb.
I'm pretty sure you used a different word.
But
okay, we'll go with that.
I was ready to give him CPR.
I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Better. Thank you. All right. So was it, what do you think the most, the most difficult to manage was? Was it physical or was it emotional?
It was both. I would say the hardest part of the climb was the summit. When we were leaving beyond no motor vehicles, and we were headed up to the boulders. I'm like, shoot, what did I just do by taking the harder path? I'm like, oh no, what's going on here? I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I just stuck it out, and the biggest fear of it all is when we reached the summit and they had to lift me with their entire team, had to lift me up and over the boulders to get to the summit.
Yeah.
It was most physical and mentally challenging.
Kind of a combo right at the same time.
Yeah.
A hybrid, you might say.
Yeah.
Melissa, there's one part of the film that really has touched me from the very beginning, and it's sort of almost glossed over in the film. And that was that you wanted to be more fit, right? And you wanted to be able to transfer from your chair to the couch to a desk chair to the bed. And so you had this like really courageous idea, which was, I gotta go and figure out how to get fitter.
Yeah.
And again, I may be exaggerating, but what I remember was you telling me you wheeled up to this CrossFit studio and met these people out of the blue, and they were really cool, and they started adapting. exercises
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
And
You know who I am? I'm
Yeah.
Melissa.
Yeah.
and I'm a little shy about bringing my own life into this, but like I think I connect to that because I remember making this decision to wrestle in high school and then just tapping my cane down the hallway towards that stinky wrestling room and going, I don't know if these people are going to accept me. Like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
So what was that decision like for you? And what advice do you have for other people who might be making some big, bold decision about like, you know, maybe applying for a job or wanting to get fitter or, you know, learning something new that maybe they aren't real sure about?
Just go after it. And as one of my friends say, failure is a friend. Let it welcome failure into your life. If you fail, you're doing good. If not, you're doing something horribly wrong. And I encourage everyone to go try and follow their dreams no matter what. And remember, what's within you is stronger than what's in your way.
And for you personally, was that decision really hard? Were you scared? You must have been scared
Yes.
going up to that place the first time.
Yes, I was pretty nervous because I was not fit. I was kind of overweight, and I was like, oh crap. After the first night, the first morning after my first lesson of CrossFit, I couldn't move my fork to even eat. I was so sore.
My grandfather used to tell me, what you want is on the other side of hard.
Yeah.
What you want is on the other side of hard.
Yeah, that's
right?
That's so true.
You had to get there, and
So
it was
true.
you had to put you had to have some skin in the game to make it to that point.
Was Rocky 1, 2, 3, or 4 a part of that process?
No.
Still?
I didn't.
You watched.
Oh, you mean the climb?
Yeah, or just the whole.
Yeah, I watched.
You know, like
Has Rocky influenced your life, Melissa?
Yeah, but still to this day, I still won't eat 5 raw eggs. No.
He eats raw eggs.
Punches big slabs of meat and walk into it. All right, we got you. All right, and you listen to music along the way too. Does that help?
Yep. Preferably country. Preferably Luke Bryan. Eric knows. Eric.
Yeah, because that Luke Bryan really fires you up to climb a mountain.
Yeah.
He's not here.
I guess.
Okay, cool.
And what was it like to climb? You climbed another mountain today with your Howard Head team. So how's your how's your job going at Howard Head? And then how did it go today?
It's going great. I recently got promoted in Howard Head I recently got promoted to safe vets. So every class, every Monday at 12 o'clock noon, I'm there, and I help Stanley, who you all met this morning, yell and coach all the staff who want to be with us. So I literally like last week or 2 weeks ago, I had 2 timers going for like 3 people at once, and I'm like, oh no, what timer is going off? Oh no, what person was this for?
No.
Yeah, and some of my crew is out in the crowd, so Christian and Jake, I'm like, oh, yeah.
All right, so I think once again, Eric and I were back there, and we've seen the movie a fair number of times. You were a bit out of earshot back there. So we were talking about that moment when we came to that fork, and what you might not know is that Eric and I went over with Skylar, and the 3 of us sat and chatted about it, and we said, oh man, it's going to be tough trying to convince her to do this harder way. It's going to be, Eric, we might have to bust out some serious motivational shit, bro. Like, you know, like, and we were,
I was ready
I mean,
too.
we were doing stretching. We were getting ready. We were like getting fired up to be able to like bring it. And as you guys saw, like we started making the pitch and she cut us off. She was like, shut up, we're going the hard way. Eric is, I get paid a lot of money to be motivational. All right, so Melissa, I mean, was there any doubt or was there any doubt at all? No.
I had my mind made up like crazy. Like about halfway to where it said motor vehicle sign, I'm like, here's what's going through my mind. I was like, I wonder what's next, what's going through Jeff and Eric and Skylar's mind. Like, oh crap, here we go. And I was like, here we go. So once we stopped, I'm like, I'm just gonna cut him off. I'm gonna say harder path right here, right now. And so that's when they asked me, I'm like, quiet guys. In my own head, I was like, quiet guys.
Okay, in your own head.
In my own head, I was like, quiet guys. I know what path I'm gonna take, and that's the harder path.
Well done. Yeah.
Hey, so Melissa, I mean, I don't think anything's made me more proud than watching your journey and your process as you grow as a person and live this no barriers life. We should call today, by the way, and this film Dehydration, because I'm dehydrated after the tears. But we have something cool for you. This is the mountain you climb. And whoa, my mic just slipped down my pants. Anyway, yeah, that's okay. We'll remedy that later.
We've done this before. Nothing to see here. It's fine.
All right. Well, this is your mountain, and we were working with the Park Service to name this mountain because it was unnamed, Mount Melissa. But as it turns out, you have to be dead for 5 years before they will name a mountain after you. So we're going to hope that this mountain does not ever get named after you for a long time. Here it is. I love you.
Love you too, Eric.
So for those, just to
For
give,
us, it's Mount Melissa, all right?
just to give everybody a description, come talk to Melissa later, and then you can check this out. But this is carved from pine. And it's the relief of the mountain, the topographical USGS relief of the mountain that you can feel with your hands.
And I want to take a couple minutes to acknowledge my rope team that was on Columbine that day. 4 years ago, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't be climbing the mountains if it wasn't for Mr. Eric Weinmayer. Yeah, he changed my perspective. Second of all, I would like to thank, and if you guys are here and want to stand and be recognized, I would like to thank the man that got it all together, Mr. Skylar Williams.
There he is back there, that handsome devil.
He's the one that he was the one that got all this together with the help of Eric and some other stuff. So third of all, Mr. Jeff Evans, the medic that I graciously took out, but I didn't.
The medic who bled.
But I didn't mean to take him out.
I didn't mean to take him out. I'm still blaming it on Eric. It is not you, Melissa. That's the way that the history will present itself.
Fourth of all, I would like to thank Penn Street, one of our climbers. I don't see her here, and her husband Moses Street, who is 73 years old and made it to the top of 13,100 feet.
Yeah.
What number am I
4.
at? 5?
5.
5.
Yep.
Second, or 5, fifth of all, I would like to thank Nate DeWitt for all your hard work and
Oh, look at that guy.
giving us
Look at that guy.
every
Yeah,
day.
Nate.
My mom, who was my support system.
Mama.
On the class. And also my dad, who was on the time as well. Who am I? I would like to thank Trevor for being awesome friends and helping me climb as well.
Being the best harmonica player on the hill, every hill he goes on.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I would like to thank Daniel Bedell for driving me down the road, driving up the mountain to get me, and driving the steep mountain train.
Yeah.
And I would like to thank 2 people that aren't here. Is my coach from the gym, Karen Lewis, and Emily Brennan. She is in Peru right now, living in Peru. So
I bet she's watching virtually from Peru right now.
I'd like to thank her. Thank you, everyone. Awesome.
All right, thanks again to everybody, and I hope you enjoyed that, and hope you enjoyed this queen and everything that she brings to our community. Thank you, Melissa.
Thanks, Melissa.
Awesome.
Nice.
Everybody's standing for me.
I gotta get this thing off. So we hope you enjoyed your dinner and both of these amazing films. And that was basically the official opening ceremony that we all got to share with you this evening. And it has been a big honor to see so many beautiful smiling faces. This past year and a half goes without saying. I think it almost, the past year and a half has been our own No Barriers challenges. Every single one of us has experienced it in some fashion. So to see all of you here, to be together, to feel the energy of this gathering is a treat and a joy for all of us. And we are all very grateful for you being here.
Thank you, guys.
And with that, I'd like to invite probably the most instrumental man for No Barriers other than Mr. Eric Weinmeier, is the co-founder and executive director and my good friend and podcast companion, Mr. Dave Scherna.
Awesome. Thank you, Dave.
That was awesome, man.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Welcome, everybody. Well, I am here to kick off the official opening ceremony. If you've been sitting here for a while, we haven't even started. This is just the beginning of the beginning. And so I'm here to kick off our opening ceremony. We have an amazing set of presenters about to come up here. We've got Magic Giant. We've got actor CJ Jones. We've got a performance by Shanae Stiletto. It's going to be incredible. My name is David Scherna, Executive Director and co-founder, as Jeff said. I want to take a moment. I know we've got a great group here in Colorado, but I don't know if you know, but right now there are 7,000 other people, or 6,000, somewhere between 6,000 and 7,000, that are participating in this summit virtually. And they are joining us live streaming. They're using our platform to participate. And what I want to invite those of you who are joining us virtually to do is use the chat to say where you live. We have people coming from 45 different countries virtually. We've got every state in the United States represented, and we are simulcasting in Spanish, English, and American Sign Language. So we welcome all of our virtual attendees. Let's give the virtual attendees a round of applause. So please, if you're joining us online, we've been online for longer than any of us want to be, but it is an amazing place to connect. So use the chat features online to connect with each other, use the meeting rooms to meet other people, and then try to take our energy that's here in person in Colorado and really enjoy the moment. So tonight's going to be epic. We're going to be dancing by the end of the night. I hope you all stay to dance. But what I wanted to start with was to just kind of let you know what the next 24 hours is about, right? So the next 24 hours is really about setting our intention, our personal intention. This last 18 months has been hard for all of us, all around the globe. When you think, well, why would 45 countries sign up for something like this? It's a testament to the fact that we all have struggled. And we all want to learn to believe that what's within us is stronger than what's in our way. And so part of what we're asking you to do tonight with a little bit of fun and energy is to get ready, because we're going to challenge you all, whether you're virtual or here in person, to do some things in the next 24 hours. We're going to challenge you to take our No Barriers pledge. Now, when people signed up online, they could take a pledge. Actually, we already have thousands of pledges that people have made. If you're not familiar with what the No Barriers pledge is, it is a personal commitment to challenge yourself to try something that stretches your comfort zone, something that is scary to you, but also excites you. And we've had pledges for the 20-year history of No Barriers, where we've been teaching our No Barriers life principles. We've had pledges to do extraordinary things. And I thought I'd just read a few that came in as people were registering, so you could just get a sense of what people are pledging to do. So I'm gonna bring it up here on my screen, and let's see, here we go, coming up. I know we had folks who pledged to, here's one, take an hour or two every day for my personal growth and development, and never dare to give up on my dreams. So pretty broad pledge. Another very specific pledge, I will lose 5 pounds, reduce my blood pressure to the normal range, and be ready to hike a mountain again. I want to take 10 minutes to meditate every day. I want to claim my life back from pain and sadness. And I want to find ways to deal with day-to-day challenges better. For 20 years, No Barriers has been working with tens of thousands of people from all walks of life, all different kinds of challenges. And we've teased out 7 principles that we know people use to push through adversity. And so those of you who are with us virtually and in person over the next 24 hours, you're going to have an opportunity to learn some of those 7 principles. We're going to challenge each of you to take a pledge. And then tomorrow, we're going to be learning about, well, what do I do once I take a pledge? How does this work? What do those 7 principles mean to me and what I'm doing in my life? We're going to learn about vision and alchemy and rope team, all these things, and how to apply them to the challenges that you are facing in your life. Now, one of our partners, Airbnb, because they love the pledge, has offered to let us do a drawing of anyone who goes online to our pledge breakout room and types in their pledge. So if you're here in person, you can do this online later tonight or tomorrow or the next day. Type in your pledge, because we'll do a drawing and we're giving away $500 gift cards for Airbnbs all over the world, so that you can either do an Airbnb place or an Airbnb experience. But you do have to go to the pledge breakout room. Right now, virtually in our pledge breakout room, some of you might know this person, Billy Lister, a Paralympic cyclist who's a member of our No Barriers community. He's online now, so that if people go into the breakout pledge room and share their pledge, he's there to chat with you, talk about what it looks like and what it looks like to take a big pledge. So Billy Lister, thanks for doing that. We really appreciate you. All right, so don't forget to do that. Also, if you're online, go to the Community Exchange and meet some new people. I know for all of you, the online thing is kind of weird, right? Like, we're all here together, like, all right, let's get this going. But I want to make sure we're acknowledging all the people who have joined virtually. All right, well, for all of us here in person, I want to let you know that tomorrow, when we go through the No Barriers life, at the end of the day, you should feel energized and excited and ready to move forward with your pledge. And one of the things that we're doing new this year at No Barriers is we have this pledge community that we've formed that is both virtual and in person. So we're going to ask everyone here in person and everyone joining from any country in the world to join our membership community. We're going to have courses every month, live events for those of you who are local. We are actually offering on September 20th for 30 days, a live course that you can take that will help you fulfill your pledge. So you can join us. We're going to have many of our great instructors helping you fulfill that pledge. So we really want you to join this community and take a pledge and fulfill it. Well, none of what we're doing here would be possible without the generous support of so many sponsors. And so when we talk about our sponsors and we talk about the No Barriers Life, I always think about our sponsors as a member of our rope team. We've got them out here in our audience live. We got rope team members joining virtually, but we really think about these sponsors as contributing members of what we're trying to do in this world. And our presenting sponsor, Wells Fargo, is a big part of what we vision for this summit to be. They've helped us grow this into not just a national, but a global event. And we really appreciate the support of Wells Fargo. I also want to honor Prudential, Winnebago Industries, Aero Electronics, Unlimited Tomorrow, Masco, CoBank, the World Happiness Fest, Touch the Top, and Airbnb. None of this would be possible without their support. As you guys know, most of what we do is free to our participants. So with that, I'd like to introduce our very first speaker, Tali Bray, and just share, she wants to share a little bit about Wells Fargo and why they have decided to sponsor this event. She's the Executive Vice President and Head of Technology, Diverse Segments, Representation, and Inclusion. If I know one thing about Wells Fargo, they have long titles, right? So you gotta get them all out. And she's responsible for leading the efforts in technology's culture to ensure diversity, equity, and inclusion are reflected in every part of Wells Fargo. While she couldn't be here tonight, she wanted to share a little bit virtually through this video. So let's listen.
People with disabilities are changing the way the world sees us. Some are teachers.
We are extraordinary thinkers.
Or business executives.
Change makers.
We speak to audiences.
Visionary leaders.
Collaborate one-on-one.
Resilient.
Or with our mentors.
Resourceful.
People with disabilities are.
We are invincible.
At Wells Fargo, we celebrate you. Wells Fargo proudly supports organizations that empower people with disabilities through financial health and employment initiatives.
Hello, my name is Tali Bray, and I'm the head of Wells Fargo Technologies Diverse Segments, Representation, and Inclusion Organization. I'm so proud to be representing Wells Fargo today and sharing in this incredible event as we kick it off, and I really wish I could have been there in person. Like many of you, I am profoundly and deeply connected to the large and incredibly diverse community of people with disabilities. My father has cerebral palsy, my mother is hearing impaired, and this has really influenced how I experience the world and how I think about access and equity and justice and achievement. With roughly 60 million adults living with a disability, and that number only growing, and at the same time, employment rates for people with disabilities are incredibly low at roughly 17%. This is a really important time for us to be celebrating the strengths and skills and achievements of this community that often go untapped and focus on ways to change that opportunity landscape. So I'm incredibly proud that Wells Fargo takes this commitment really seriously. We recently scored 100% in the Disability Equality Index, and we're included in Disability:IN's 2021 Best Places to Work for People with Disabilities. And then in addition, we have internal programs really focused on improving representation of underrepresented and often underserved populations that really allow us to gain access to incredible talent that has historically faced challenges entering the workforce. A really great example of this is Wells Fargo's Neurodiversity Program, which reduces traditional barriers to employment that start with the interview process and really focuses on a more equitable assessment of skills and a more balanced candidate experience for individuals with neurodiversity. We've hired roughly 30 software engineers through this program this year. That's going to double by the end of the year. We expect that to continue to grow going into 22 and 23. And the beauty of this program is that it's bringing much needed technical talent, often with very specific, unique skill sets, into our organization innovation, and it really reinforces that diversity is a business advantage and truly a key for innovation. You know, and ultimately all of this is really part of a broader discussion we're having around disability justice. And disability justice, as it's framed by the World Institute on Disability, is really about investing in the removal of structural, institutional, and procedural barriers that have impacted people with disabilities at disproportionate levels. So no longer relying on compliance and enforcement of laws as the primary means for inclusion and access. And that brings us back to no barriers. So I am so excited about the opportunities, events, and discussions that are going to happen over the next couple of days, and really hope that each one of us feel empowered to do our part in being part of this vision and taking down barriers. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, Tali. We really appreciate the support of all of our sponsors, and we're excited to continue to explore this theme of diversity and inclusion over the course of the next couple of days together. Now, many of you, how many out there were at the What's Your Everest? Make some noise if you're at What's Your Everest. Whoa, all right. A lot of us were part of the What's Your Everest. So What's Your Everest, as those of you here know, but those joining virtually may not know, is our annual fundraising event where we go out in the mountains and we challenge ourselves to get up to the top of a peak with a group of all different abilities. And it is a fundraising event that we do here in Colorado. Now, what I'm going to ask people to do, if you're joining virtually or in person, if you weren't a part of What's Your Everest, we are asking people, if they can, to make a small gift to No Barriers if they're able. And you can do this if you're joining the virtual platform by clicking on the donate button. You can also use your mobile phone to text NB Summit to 91999. Text NB Summit to 91999. Oh, look, it's behind me too. That's nice. So if you wouldn't mind and you're able, we'd love for you to take a moment to do that. We appreciate your support. All of the online participation is free, and the program that we're providing to you is at a discounted rate if you're joining for future events, thanks to our generosity of our sponsors. So today on the mountains, What's Your Everest felt kind of really special to me because of the 20th anniversary of Eric's climb. When we designed this program, What's Your Everest, what we thought is everyone's got to have big challenges in their life, something that excites them, something that makes them want to keep moving forward. And that's what What's Your Everest is really about. And this year was no different. And one of the things that really kind of set home for me today was how extraordinary that climb of Everest was 20 years ago. It's just amazing to think about that actually happened. And so I wanted you to just have a little glimpse of a reminder of that event when it happened 20 years ago. A little surprise for you. We asked one of your rope team members to share a special message with you, and he couldn't join, but we're going to play it for him.
Cool.
Hi, Eric. Hoping that you're well. It's Adrian here. I am so excited and honored to be able to congratulate you on the anniversary of your ascent to Mount Everest. What an incredible feat it was that inspired the world, and what you do now to continue removing those barriers of access for those who want to pursue their dreams is just incredible. So my favorite memory of you, of course, was ascending a mountain with you in Telluride, and I remember playing Amazing Grace at the top of the mountain. I think this piece speaks of this grace and light that we all have as we continue all of our ascents towards our challenges and overcoming them. So thank you for all that you've done for the world, and this little piece is a gift to you.
What an amazing performance. Adrian, if you're out there watching us, thank you so much for that message. We wish you could be here with us. Well, Eric, we have a small gift from you, for you, I'm sorry. You were feeling it up here.
Yeah,
you probably got a little
I cheated.
sense of it. You cheated. But in honor of this amazing accomplishment, we have carved Everest into a block of wood for you. And perhaps, and just now the geese are flying over us in honor of your accomplishment. And perhaps one of the greatest stories that I love about Eric's climb that some of you may know and some of you may not is that when Eric summited, the very day he summited, he came down and his leader, PV, Pasquale, he said to Eric, "Don't let Everest be the greatest thing you've ever done." This is on the day he did it. He's saying, don't let this be the best thing you've ever done. And so Eric, on the bottom of this, we have carved, "Don't make Everest the greatest thing you ever do." And the reason we wanted to do that is because for us at No Barriers, we believe you've done so many extraordinary things with your life, but No Barriers by far is the most extraordinary. The community that you've built here that is so inviting and welcoming and supportive and teaches people to break through barriers, it changes lives every day. And so thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Now I know Eric wants to say a few words, so Eric, I'm going to turn it.
This is my turn.
It's your turn. You can come up. Your mic is here. And
okay.
I'll bring
Awesome.
your
Thank you,
Everest
Dave.
away.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Wow. Thanks, Adrian. I'm sure you're out there listening. What a great night so far, and what a great day. How many people were part of the hike today? Oh, so great. Thank you for being there. It was so powerful for me to hike with all of you. to meet so many people, you know, some old friends, some people that this is their first What's Your Everest event and first summit. How many people this is your first event with us? That's really powerful. And I joined the vet team for a little bit at the summit. Ron gave me a beautiful flag. Are you out there, Ron? Yeah, cool, thank you. So took a nice picture with that beautiful flag. That's quite an honor. And then you guys have seen a lot of Melissa. She reached the summit with her rope team, and she told me that she has a very inspirational message for us here. Check this out.
Hi, Eric. It's your mama. I made it to 13,050 feet.
Yes.
Where are you? I don't see you. Okay, so that means you're lazy today. But you deserve all the laziness you can get because you're almost retired.
Wow, I'm like the Rodney Dangerfield of the No Barriers community. No respect, Melissa. But what a great day, and so psyched everyone's part of this. This No Barriers life, it is a struggle, right? It's a struggle for all of us. Like today, some of you are out of breath, struggling, folks in chairs, some of the folks with physical challenges, emotional challenges, right? It is a struggle. It's a struggle to live this life. It's a struggle to define it, first of all. It's so deeply personal for each and every person. And then to push the parameters of what it can mean. And then some days, you know, you're just failing it and bleeding it. And I climbed outside of Moab, Utah with a couple of the founders of No Barriers, Mark Wellman and Hugh Herr, a long time ago, early 2000s. And we were climbing this beautiful tower together. Now, some of you may not know, but Hugh Herr is a double-leg amputee, amazing climber. And Mark Wellman is a paraplegic climber. He was the first para to climb El Capitan. 7,000 pull-ups he did in 8 days. So I had the privilege of climbing with these guys. And at the top of the summit, Hugh took my finger and he pointed at these beautiful towers shooting up all around the desert. These beautiful sculptured towers, sculpted by wind and rain and the elements and time. And I thought, we're those elements, Hugh. We are those towers. We're connected by the shape that we turn into. We're connected by these struggles. We're connected not by our victories, but by this idea that we've been beat down a little, we've been shattered, and this process of rebuilding and re-entering the world and reclaiming our lives and finding what a full life means. And so it's ironic that I think we're all here, united by our struggles. I mean, victories are wonderful. Thanks, Bottle. Yeah. Dynamite. Victories are wonderful, but the struggles are what unite us here. And I know about struggles because blind climbers face a lot of it in the mountains. And so a lot of you know about our Everest success, but you don't know about the year before. We went to Amada Blam, a very beautiful peak, as a team to try to become a team and really prepare for Mount Everest. And it was this beautiful mountain. Amma is mother, Dablam is goddess, and Jewel Box. And so you climb up over this glittering glacier, which is at the neckline, and you reach the ridge and you climb up to its crown. And it was our dream to reach the summit of this mountain, but it didn't turn out that way. We got up to 20,000 feet pretty fast. We set our tent up on this little bird's nest. The corner of the tent was hanging off this 5,000 foot cliff. I made my friend Eric Alexander sleep on that side of the tent. And then the weather changed. The whole mountain changed. The monsoons came in. We were stuck in that tent for 8 days. PV finally got up to us. We were trying to come down the mountain with all our loads, just stumbling down the mountain. Wind picking us up and slamming us down against the rock face. And in that process, Eric, who I spent all those 8 days with, he slipped and he fell 150 feet. He landed on a ledge, which saved his life, and the team pulled him back up to safety. He went into shock pulmonary edema. His lungs started filling with fluid, And so we had to get Eric down the mountain. We all straggled into base camp about 1 a.m. We were totally exhausted. We put Eric in a Gammo bag. It's a hyperbaric chamber. It brings you down to a lower altitude. You got to pump air into the bag. And Eric didn't really like being in that little bag because there was a window and he was watching through that window PV, the team leader, read the instruction manual. So not very confidence inspiring. But a few days later, there was a little sucker hole. Very brave Nepali colonel flew in and got Eric down to safety, saved Eric's life. So lots of struggle, right? And it was the next year that we were able to summit Everest. And so that failure did turn into a success the next year. And as Dave mentioned, yeah, coming down the mountain of Everest is where that real no barrier story starts, because you are trashed. You are so crushed, right? Your legs are stretched like, so many times. You feel like a rubber band that's just run out of stretch, and you're windburn on top of sunburn. And I think I'd lost 30-something pounds. And I got down below the icefall that last time. And PV, he turned to me, pulled me aside. I thought he was going to have me sign his baseball cap. Instead, he said, Eric, do me a favor. Don't let Everest be the greatest thing you ever do. And I thought, PV, that's the worst timed motivational advice in the history of the world. Let me go home and rest for 50 years and drink some hazelnut lattes and eat croissants. But what PV was saying was that, these experiences, that they're not for our resume, right? They have to mean something. They have to be a catalyst to more growth in our lives to propel us forward in new ways. And so, but I didn't know what it was going to be. So, I tried lots of things. What do you do after you climb Everest? Yeah. Sky, what do we got? We got our Disney photo up there? Yeah, that's what you do. Yeah. You go to Disney World, you climb with Mickey and Goofy. And sure, life definitely changed in my life and did a ton of media, right? Because the world was really interested in this project. And I have to say, though, this one was the most interesting, or maybe I'll just say the most bizarre. Check this out.
Right after the break, we're going to interview Eric Weihenmayer, who climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. But he's gay. He's blind. So we'll hear about that.
Okay, as we head to the break, a look.
Yeah. Now, I don't think there's anything funny, by the way, about being blind or being gay, but I don't know how those two words look the same on a script, but it's still a mystery. But I embrace it as the first gay blind man to climb Everest. It's all good for me. And so, yeah, PV said, don't let this be the greatest thing you ever do. And the Sherpas say something very similar when you climb Everest. They say the summit is not the real summit. It's only the halfway summit. And so what they mean, I guess, at a physical, at a very straightforward level, external level, is that you have to get down the mountain alive before it counts in the record books. But I think what they mean at a deeper level is that you have to come down the mountain, you have to descend down the mountain where human beings live and work, down into these deep valleys, really before it matters. I think we have to take the gifts that we have earned through our struggles and come down the mountain and use those as gifts to elevate the world, to elevate our lives, our rope teams, and the world around us. And so for me, climbing Everest, yeah, that was a beautiful culmination, but it led to some beautiful things in my life that I would have never, ever anticipated. One was climbing an ice face in Nepal, 3,000-foot vertical ice face with my friend Rob, who was hiking with us this morning. And I came down the face and back down to Namche Bazaar. And it turns out that I got the word that we had been waiting for 1.5 years to adopt a little boy from Nepal. And we got the word that he was about to be accepted. And so I found myself in a taxi heading to the Helpless Children's Protection Home to meet this little guy, didn't even speak English, who was going to become my son. Check this out.
So Eric.
Yes.
Where are we headed?
We are headed to the Helpless Children's Protection Home to meet this little guy little ragamuffin named Arjun. And this is going to be pretty cool because in 20 years, Arjun, maybe you'll be watching this. And I haven't even met you yet. That's weird. I hope it all works out. I'm a little nervous.
Yeah.
Got it. Oh, yeah. Got it. Yeah. Thank you, Cindy.
So Eric, there's this little boy right here.
Oh my gosh, this is.
Hey, buddy.
Arjun.
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 Yeah, he's shy.
Arjun.
Shy, you know that word? So how old are you? 4? You're a shy guy. Huh? You just like to look around, huh?
So Arjun was 5 when we finally brought him home after a lot of struggle. And he's grown a lot in the last 10 years or so. Yeah. And so for his graduation, by the way, we brought him on a No Barriers trip. We trekked with a No Barriers team of youth across the Mustang region of Nepal. It was a totally beautiful trip. And I've had a lot of No Barriers pledges over the years. One was to kayak the Grand Canyon. One was to cook for my family once a week. And this year, my No Barriers pledge was a little more personal. My mom passed away before I went off to college, so I had to go to college alone. And I said, I want to be there for my son. My No Barriers pledge is to make sure I drop him off at college and give him a big hug. And we did that just yesterday. We've dropped him off in school. And we love him most of the time. And so the other legacy for me, the other culmination was coming down the mountain with Hugh and Mark and Dave and this amazing team and starting No Barriers. We wanted to build a movement, this movement to help people with challenges. That's all of us, whether they be physical or emotional or invisible, these challenges, to help them break through those barriers, to tap into that light of the human spirit, to find purpose in their lives, and to contribute back to the world in some way. And we bring in these amazing pioneers, people who have pushed the envelope in life, like Mandy tonight, like Melissa, like Todd, these pioneers who have really lived this No Barriers life and have shown people the way forward. And they're scientists and engineers and athletes and artists and humanitarians and musicians, all there to help others figure out how they will move forward in their lives. And I've met some amazing pioneers. Mindy Shire, I got to meet her a few years ago. She's a mom. Some of you know Mindy? Yeah, so Mindy is a mom, but her son was born with a pretty severe disability. He came home crying from school one day. He said, "Mom, I can't dress myself. I wear sweatpants to school. All the kids are wearing these cool, fashionable outfits." And so that broke her heart as a mom. Well, after she got over the feelings of helplessness, she got to work. She was a bit of a seamstress. She started sewing, and she took off the buttons and the zippers and replaced them with Velcro and magnets. And the next day, her son, even though she had a sleepless night, he was able to wear those swanky pants to school. And that became an organization called Runway of Dreams. She partners with Tommy Hilfiger, and enabling thousands of people now, thousands of people with disabilities to look good, to feel good, to live their lives with dignity, to be able to dress themselves. I mean, this is No Barriers. Sam Schmidt, who you're going to hear from, I think, tomorrow. Sam Schmidt, he had a terrible IndyCar accident. He became a quadriplegic. And he wasn't finished with driving, though. He's partnered with all these amazing technology companies, Aero Technologies, and they built this car. Do you guys have you seen it today? The SAM car, semi-autonomous motor car. And it works with infrared scanners that track his eye movements and a puff and sip system that he can use to brake and to accelerate. And he didn't just drive that car. He has raced that car at over 200 miles per hour. Check it out.
And that's No Barriers. Now, a lot of these stories are really dramatic, like Sam and Mindy. They're spectacular. But there are so many other stories out there that are quieter, that are less dramatic, but just as beautiful. My friend Mark Yearsley, he may be listening tonight. Mark, when he came home from Iraq, his leg was severely injured. He decided to have it amputated because he thought he would actually give him a better life. But he sat in a wheelchair for a long time, just upset, sad, lonely, not the person he wanted to be, snapping at his family, realized he just wasn't who he wanted to be. And he signed up for this No Barriers program. He didn't know a lot about it. And he was going to go climb Gannett Peak in Wyoming. And he started training. He got out of that chair and he started walking, just a couple 100 yards at first, and then a half mile, then a mile, then a couple miles, then 5 miles, then 10 miles every day. And he lost 120 pounds in the process. And the hidden benefit was that he started walking with his wife, and they reconnected, and they rekindled their love. And today they're closer than ever. This is beautiful. And then lastly, my friend Kara, just last week, we were part of a project. Kara was hit by a skier when she was 5 years old, gave her a very serious traumatic brain injury. And at 40 years old, she decided that she was going to hike back up to the injury site, the place where she was injured, and confront the past. Let's check out Kara's journey here.
She was right at my side when she got hit. She was 5.5 years old. I'll never forget that moment.
It was some, bluebird day, just gorgeous. Wanted to ski that last run of the day. She and Jim sat down in the snow. She was eating some snow, and then boom, stopped breathing immediately. And I didn't know if I'd ever see her again.
And then they flew the helicopter right to the ski area, which saved her life.
She's always wanted to hike to the top. She decided, this is a goal. I want to make it to the top. I want to see where I was hurt. I'm going to be so proud of her, even if we have to haul her up in the rain and mud.
What do you think you'll think about?
The way things used to be and should have been and what is to become.
Yeah, just beat the ground. Let it out. Let it out. Yep.
Missed out on a lot of her normal life. But she's had her own life. And she's a very special woman.
I just feel like she's made a big difference in a lot of people's lives. They see the perseverance that she's had. She's just not afraid of life.
Is there anything you want to tell people about you when they see the video?
Just that I am who I am. Kara's a great star of America.
Not the world, just America?
Wherever the world is. Like for that. Kara's a great star of the world. Go, yes.
Well, Kara, I hope you and your family are listening tonight. You all and your rope team are full on No Barriers. Thank you. Thank you for your pledge, too. Inspired by folks like Kara and Mark and Mindy, Sam. 2 years ago, I went back to Amida Blam, by the way. Went back to Amida Blam. I mean, throw logic aside, I got my butt kicked at 30, but at 50, we thought we had a chance. After a month on the mountain, listening to all my friends give very specific directions, crawling on ridges the width of your body, we had a beautiful summit at 23,000 feet. It was a story that took 20 years to complete. So back to these towers that Hugh described outside of Moab, Utah. These beautiful towers shaped by rain and wind and the elements of time. I think we are these towers We're shaped by our struggles. We are shaped by adversity. But I think we have a choice not to allow those adversities to shape us into something ugly, to diminish us, to shatter us, to pulverize us. But we have a choice to allow them to shape us into something beautiful and profound. This is a transformational process we call at No Barriers alchemy. This process of taking lead and turning it into gold, of taking struggle and turning it into our greatest strengths, loss into beauty, isolation into connection, pain into love. And it's a very important part of this process of living a no barriers life. Our struggles, yeah, they shape us, but they also enable us to be right here, leaning into each other, lifting each other up. Those struggles become the fuel that power our lives forward, that can give them meaning. So I wish you a life rich with adversity. You all are no barriers. I love you all. Thank you for being here. What's within you is stronger than what's in your way. Have a great summit. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks.
You got it. All right. Well, we have so much still in store. We've got coming up next. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. We got the stage removal here. This is going to be pretty cool, guys. Eric talked about what it means to be a pioneer, and this next performer is an incredible pioneer. I've been watching her backstage, and what you're about to see, I've never seen before in my entire life. It's amazing. Shanae Stiletto is a two-time world champion gold medalist in acrobatic gymnastics. She's a USA Gymnastics Hall of Fame member and a World Acrobatic Society inductee. She also is the first African-American female soloist in a Cirque du Soleil production. I want to welcome to the stage Shanae Stiletto. Wow, that was pretty awesome. Shanae's going to be back up in just a second. She has to catch her breath, and she's going to share a few words. And while we're waiting for her to catch her breath, one of the other principles that we teach at No Barriers that we see a lot of our community members embody is a principle we call Elevate. Elevate's all about making your life be about giving back to others. Now, during COVID, we had to cancel all of our in-person programming at No Barriers, and we weren't exactly sure what to do because 95% of what we did was in person. And our board president, Tom Lilly, called me up and he said, Dave, I want to do something special for the organization. We need to have a book that's about the principles that we teach, that shares how you can bring these principles to life for yourself, and that shares some of the stories that have made No Barriers who it is. And so last year we released this book, What's Within You, and we released it in COVID, so we didn't have any opportunity to actually present it to the public in a formal way. So this is our first time being on stage together. Tom and I wrote this book together over the past year and a half. And so I'm going to invite Tom up onto the stage. And I want to say to Tom, thank you so much he donated all his time to this book, and all proceeds are going to No Barriers. So Tom, thank you so much. If you're interested and you don't have the book, we have some books over here that you can purchase, and we're doing some book signing. So feel free during the concert to pop on over there, and we'll probably be here throughout the weekend. If you don't have one, we've got them available for purchase. Now, I want to introduce you to another innovator in our community. Eric, when he was talking, he talked about the SAM car, which is down here. And the SAM car was made possible by Arrow Electronics. They're one of our sponsors. Arrow sponsors a thing that we call our Global Impact Challenge. Do we still have students out there that are from the Global Impact Challenge winners? Let's make some noise. It's kind of hard for me to see. There's a lot of bright lights now. So our Global Impact Challenge is a national competition that asks schools across America to come up with creative solutions to problems in the world. And we have some different themes to these challenges. And so we have a theme that's around inclusion. And Arrow this year is sponsoring a theme alongside Unlimited Tomorrow that is about technology for accessibility. And what better sponsor to have with that Arrow car right in front of us than Arrow Electronics for that technology sponsorship. So if you know a school, middle school, high school, teacher, or students, these students get together and they submit solutions for a better future. And then we compete to see who wins, and then they get a cash award to make their prize come to fruition. And so we've got 2 schools here that are here because they won the award and they're making their projects come to fruition. But just to say a couple of words about this sponsorship and why Arrow Electronics is a part of No Barriers, I wanted to invite up onto the stage Joe Varengia. Joe, you want to come on up? Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, everybody. Well, good evening. So I'm following Melissa, Eric, and Cirque du Soleil. I got nothing like that. But I want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you to No Barriers. Arrow is one of those giant companies that you may never have heard of before, but it touches you every day. We don't make anything with our name on the outside of it, like Apple, for example, but we're inside everything. And about 7 years ago, we decided that we could make a difference with technology for the sake of improved mobility. Our tagline, and what it reads on my shirt, is 5 years out. We look at that as 5 years from now being the horizon of technology, sort of that tangible future of what's happening next. And we're working on that. And so is No Barriers. And that's why we're partners together. You've already heard about the SAM car a little bit. SAM is our race car driver. It's also the name of the car. SAM stands for Semi-Autonomous Mobility, because I like to keep things simple. I can't remember two names at once. So it's Sam the driver, Sam the car. And because he has no motion from his shoulders down, he drives only with his head and with his breath. Now, when Eric talked about how the motto is, don't let this be your last achievement. Well, in 2014, when we modified the car, Sam drove for the first time in 14 years since his racing accident, and he went 107 miles an hour, fastest ever for someone like him using only his head. And he was not through. He challenged us. 2 years later, he competed in the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb, driving 12 miles and 154 turns to the summit of the 14,000-foot mountain. He finished in the middle of the pack against able-bodied racers, and he did that race in 15 minutes. And when you and I drive to the top of Pikes Peak, when we have family in town and we want to take them to the top of the mountain, it takes us 40 minutes. So think about it. And no guardrails. And so this year, he had a challenge for us, because when he was injured, he hit that wall at 200 miles an hour. And this year, driving that car out there, he went 201 miles an hour driving with his head. So you will meet Sam tomorrow by video, and he will be I got nothing, he's got plenty, believe me. So I just wanted to say thank you to No Barriers. I think 5 years out, we'll be here with you. Thanks again. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Well, Shanae has had some time to recuperate from her performance, and I wanted to ask her to come on stage and say a few words to all of you. So, Shanae, if we're going to welcome you back on up. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure to perform for No Barriers and represent Omnium, which is a bold new circus. I have been really sick this past month, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it to the event, so I had a little bit of time to prepare, and I'm so happy that I was able to perform for No Barriers, because it's such an amazing movement of individuals, and I'm so inspired. And it just really reminds you that there are no barriers in your life, and that if you put your mind to it, you can do anything. And I have a very long history in circus and in acrobatics. I was the first ever world champion in acrobatic gymnastics, as you heard before, competing for USA Gymnastics. And it had never been done before by an American. And so that was an amazing start to my career. And I did it twice. And I went on, thank you so much. And then I went on to run away with the circus, which it's an incredibly unique journey. and a very difficult one as well. You don't meet that many acrobats out there, and you don't meet very many circus performers. So it's always been my very unique path. I've always been very grateful to be able to do it and to push myself. And so I was incredibly thrilled to participate in this summit. And again, I'm so incredibly inspired. And thank you again. This has been a really interesting year for the live entertaining business that I'm in. And so doing every single live performance, which I haven't had the opportunity to do very much of these last 18 months, is really, really a gift. And it's so unique. And I definitely don't take it for granted, as I know everyone else here doesn't either, of the connection that we're able to experience with one another. I really live and breathe for live performance and to be on the stage and and to use my body and to see what it can do. And so today I was able to see also too what I'm capable of and what I'm made of. So thank you. It was a really beautiful marker to push myself to be able to perform here today and to continue to get better and better as performances continue to happen more and more. So thank you again. It was such a pleasure. I'm very grateful to be here and enjoy the rest of this beautiful summit and a beautiful cause. Thank you.
All right, well, if you're wondering what's coming up, in just a minute, we're going to hear from actor C.J. Jones, and then we're going to get into our live concert. So that's what's about to happen. And just before we do that, I wanted to take a moment to honor someone very special to the No Barriers community. We lost a family member of the No Barriers community this past year, a guy by the name of Ken Melrose. Now, Ken was a very generous man in his life. He lived and embodied what we call servant leadership, this idea of elevating the world around you. He was the CEO of Toro. You may have heard of that. He led a massive turnaround for Toro. He was an incredible contributor to so many causes, including No Barriers. And I wanted to say a few words about Ken, because in honor of Ken Melrose, who passed away from Alzheimer's past year, we have started a scholarship called the Ken Melrose Memorial Scholarship that every year is going to go to a veteran to come to one of our programs. And so tonight, we're going to present that scholarship to one of the veterans here in the audience. But just a few things about Ken. Ken was a graduate of Princeton with advanced degrees from MIT and the University of Chicago. As I mentioned, he rescued Toro from a severe financial crisis and led it for 23 years of success. He was incredibly generous, not just to No Barriers, but he funded the building of the Melrose Center at Christian Union to serve Princeton University. He also established a course in Christian ethics and business. He expanded a medical clinic in Minneapolis to address eating disorders. And at the same center, Ken supported the Veterans Honors Program to help veterans in their last days feel compassion, respect, and gratitude. He also refitted the Orange County Library in Orlando to a highly technological operation focusing on visual arts and filming and digital media. Truly an amazing man. The list of things that he gave back to the world goes on and on and on. And so we are honored to present this scholarship tonight, the very first Memorial Ken Melrose Scholarship, to Charlie Merritt. Charlie, I know you're in the office, you're in the audience. Come on up. Charlie is a U.S. Marine military veteran, an innovator himself in helping veterans improve their lives, veterans with disability. Charlie started his own nonprofit organization. And Charlie, we're so honored to have you here. And in honor of that, we are presenting you with this Ken Melrose Scholarship. There we go. Okay, there we go. It's not gonna hurt you. All right. Thank you so much for being with us. Yeah. Thanks so much. All right, well, I'm really excited to introduce you to our next guest before our live music performance. Some of you may know this next guest. He's pretty popular in Hollywood. who's really awakened to his brilliance. After decades of TV, film, and comedy and stage performances that brought him unsurpassed popularity in the deaf and hard of hearing industry, CJ, who's about to come up, is making an impact throughout the entertainment industry. Do we have any Avatar fans out there? Anyone like the movie Avatar? Yeah, a few, right? Well, Avatar 2 is about to come out, and CJ created a special sign language that is going to be featured in this film for one of the alien races. And so that's something that he recently did that we'll be seeing. CJ's also received global acclaim for his role as Joseph, who's the caring father to Ansel Elgort in Edgar Wright's blockbuster Baby Driver. I don't know if anyone's seen that movie, but it's a great film. So in addition to CJ's many breakthrough roles in broadcasts and streaming series are his accomplishments as a producer, a director, a writer, including short films, co-writing, and directing several episodes of the popular fairy tale series Once Upon a Sign. And so I am honored to welcome CJ to the stage.
So much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Wow, it's so dark out here. No problem. Can you say hello? Well, I can hear you. But thank you for saying that anyway. I want you to know that I can speak, but I prefer to sign because it's my first sign language. When I was born as a baby, and that's where my mom and dad smile. Oh, you're so funny. Ta-da! Now, I'm going to give it to an interpreter who will speak faster with me. If he's behind, too bad. Are you ready, interpreter? Wherever you are. There you are. Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3, go.
Hello. I'm very happy to be here. And I understand I have up to 12 minutes, but that doesn't matter. I'm going to give you a tour of how I was raised with a number of barriers that I broke through. Just like our slogan here, right? What's within you is stronger than what's in your way. And what's within you, you can move out of. You can move through with what's within you. And I'll give you some examples of that. I dream with my eyes open. And it all started when I was born. I was born hearing, and I became deaf at the age of 7. I had spinal meningitis. Fortunately, my parents are also deaf, and so their first language was sign language. I have a number of siblings, all of whom are hearing, but all who knew signs. So I grew up in a household of both worlds, both in the deaf and the hearing world. And I had no problem navigating those. So how did I fall in love then with acting? My brother took me to a Mississippi riverboat. And there they had music and drumming, and my brother was a tap dancer. So he tap danced on the riverboat, and I would watch him like a hawk. He would take me to all of his performances, and I learned to love to go with him. And I would watch him. I realized he's earning some money from this. And I thought, he can do that, I can do it too. So I started to mime alongside his performances like this, and people would laugh at my miming performances, and I started to earn my own money. It was the thrill of my heart, and it was very inspiring and motivating to me. So I decided to persist in acting. Now, I do want to let you know, I never, not even once, thought that, because I am deaf, that's who I am. I am CJ, and I happen to be deaf. Some people say, oh, I'm sorry that you're deaf. And I would say, what are you talking about? Why are you sorry for me? I don't have any problem. I'm an actor. I'm a writer. I'm a drummer. I can do all kinds of things. What's your problem, right? Because that's their problem. My problem is how I could become successful. And so as I was raised, that's where I set my sights. I went to the deaf school. I wanted to become a director and a writer. I wrote stories stories about sports and always wanted to learn everything I could get my hands on. And that was my passion. My passion was what kept me progressing and moving. No matter what barriers were in my place, were in my way, I was ready to knock them down and prove that I could do anything. To prove that I could create myself, to create something, right? Not someone else who would create something for me, but I could create myself. I could create my own story. I could encourage others to learn from my role model to be able to create themselves. And that's where I decided that I wanted to be a leader in the future. I wanted to be able to create something different for others. Because if I can do it, so can anybody else. Anybody. And so I just continued down that path until I got into college. I continued in drama. I graduated with a computer sciences major, and then I decided I wanted to head off to Hollywood. And I wanted to become an actor and to be on TV, and I wanted to star in movies. But let me tell you, it was difficult. Barrier after barrier, doors slamming in my face, no after no after no. But that was discouraging to me. I was disappointed by those doors being closed, and I certainly was ready to give up. But my instinct and my passion continued to motivate me. I was dreaming with my eyes open, and I saw possibilities rather than barriers. And possibilities are powerful things, right? I knew that things were possible. I knew that I had to work hard to make my dream happen. And sure enough, thanks to Edgar Wright from Baby Driver, I can't even tell you. I mean, to try to explain this part, and to help you understand why authenticity is so important. Authenticity is the king of what opens doors and breaks down barriers for us all. So when I went in for the audition, it was the first time I'd auditioned in quite a long time. The casting director said, "Oh, I know this black deaf gentleman who's an actor, and he was in a few things, a decade ago. I've got his file somewhere way back in the file drawer. What about this guy?" And Edgar looked at my profile and said, "Well, why don't we call CJ?" And I got the email, and I thought, whoa, here's a big audition. Okay, this is a real opportunity. And I got into the room where the auditioning was taking place, and there were a panel of people there to watch me audition. I didn't bring a sign language interpreter with me because I wanted to prove to them that my talent wasn't about my deafness. It wasn't about my hearing loss. It wasn't even about the ability or inability to hear whatsoever. I wanted them to see my raw talent, what I could bring to the stage, and the power that I had to deliver through my acting skills. And what really convinced them to love my acting, right, was I waited 2 auditions before I actually got the job, but I didn't actually, necessarily believe why Edgar picked me. There were all kinds of hearing actors auditioning for that part, and why they chose me for that role. Why did they choose me? Edgar said, "Absolutely. We wanted you because we wanted authenticity. You are a deaf actor playing a deaf role. In the script that I wrote, it says black, deaf, 85-year-old man. That's who should play that role." Now, I'm not 85 years old. I'm not. I'm ageless. Thank you very much. But nonetheless, he wrote the script for that particular authentic character. So I got onto the movie set, and they watched me act, and I was next to Ansel Elgort, and we were interacting. We became very good friends. I taught him sign language, and we really partnered. And the producers that were behind us, their mouths were agape. Literally, their chins were on the floor. This is what they were doing. They were like, wow. Right? They saw my deafness first rather than my talent. And then I started to realize how important it was, not just that a person see the color of your skin or that you're deaf or that you have a disability, but what is your talent? What is your potential? What are your abilities? That's what makes the biggest difference. And now they started to learn how to open doors for other peoples with different disabilities for a variety of roles in Hollywood. Now, having done that movie and produced that movie, the movie was released, and my father had passed away, but my mother was still alive. She was 94 years old at the time, and she was very excited to go and watch me on the big screen. But I should let you know that my mom had only 1 month before she was likely to pass away. So I was hoping that she would survive for the release of the movie, just for that month. And I was really hopeful that she would. And sure enough, my mom held on to the release of the movie. I invited my mom to the premiere of the movie, and she was sitting right next to me in her wheelchair. And I said, Mom, please, pay attention, watch. I really want you to see me there. And she had started to doze off, at her age. I wanted to make sure until when I came on the screen that she saw my appearance on the screen. So I tapped her on the shoulder and said, Mom, look, this is me. My mom looked up at the screen and saw me in the movie. And she said, CJ, you look old. And I said, no, Mom, that's acting. That's my role. That's makeup. My mom said, my goodness, your eyes are shining so brightly. I was so inspired and excited and happy by her comment. So after the movie let out, we were in the lobby, and there were people who had been in the audience who came out to want to meet me and wanted my autograph, and I was signing autographs left and right, and I was so excited to do that. My mom was sitting next to me in her wheelchair, just watching that with the largest smile on her face. She was beaming, with my sisters, all laughing beside me. And I went up to my mom and I said, did you have a wonderful time? And she said, CJ, I'm so proud of you. You have worked so hard. I'm so very proud of you. You did a beautiful job. And tears started streaming down my face. I couldn't thank my mom enough. 2 weeks later, my mom passed away. Now, I did work hard to make my mom proud of me in that moment, and realized in that moment that I can achieve anything. I can overcome any obstacle. I can remove any barrier. I can open any door of doubt, right? I've had enough of those. I will persist. I will continue to spread the message that all of us have goodness within us, and we are here to break through the barriers that are put in our way, to inspire other people, regardless of our color or disability, whether we're deaf or hard of hearing. That's what I want to emphasize. What's most important is our impact that we can have. Thank you. Thank you. The impact that we can have is critically important. The more impact that you have, the more doors that then open, and people's eyes begin to open and see and understand what's possible, right? Whether it's not about your ability. This is true for all people, for all humans. We're all in that same boat to support each other. You impact me, I impact you, and we have reciprocal impact on each other. And the more that people see that, and the more visibility there is of those barriers being removed, the world becomes a better place for everyone. And we walk into a world without barriers. Thank you. Love you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, CJ. It was a wonderful message. I am so excited that we are coming to this crescendo of a night where we can get up. If we're able, we can move around, we can dance a bit, hear an incredible band. If you're wondering about tomorrow, tomorrow starts at 8 a.m. right here with a meditation session with Gabriella Wright. There'll be a full morning of activities. If you're joining virtually, we hope to see you in the morning. We hope you stay for this next concert so that you can get moving at home as well. I want to say thank you again to all of our sponsors and donors who make this possible. We hope that you guys have had an incredible night, and that you're ready to get moving and grooving. And to introduce the band, I want to bring up one of our longtime sponsors from Prudential to represent Prudential, Maureen Mirandola.
This event fills my soul every year. Prudential is honored to be the Veterans Track sponsor for the 5th year in a row. We want to thank our active serving military and all of our veterans. We thank you for your service. We thank you for giving of yourself for all of us. We are humbled and grateful for everything that you have done. And we're just so proud to be here with you. And for all the veterans that were here, if everyone could just give them a round of applause. It was fantastic to be with all of you today. So thank you. So I get the honor of introducing the band tonight, one of my favorites, Magic Giant, but they do need a couple of minutes. They are gonna get this party started. They are fantastic. So enjoy your night. Thank you all and have a great time.